Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a genuinely monumental story in the world of combat sports. We are talking about the Gina Carano weight loss journey. We're going to break down her absolutely incredible, life-altering transformation to shed 100 pounds for her highly anticipated return to the cage against Ronda Rousey. This isn't just your standard fight hype story. It's a deep dive into the science, the discipline, and the sheer willpower it takes to literally rebuild a fighter's body from the ground up.
Which really begs the question, right? What does it actually take to drop that much weight for a professional fight? To fully grasp how wild this achievement is, we have to remember that combat sports has a notoriously dangerous history when it comes to weight management. This is an environment where athletes routinely push their bodies to the absolute brink. They'll often compromise their long-term health just to hit a specific number on a scale. It is a culture built on extreme deprivation.
Historically, fighters have leaned heavily on extreme, rapid dehydration in those final, brutal days before a fight. And the dark side of this practice is severe. We've seen it cause acute kidney failure, forcing guys like Brian Malenkov into early retirement, and literally causing others to pass out backstage before they even make the walk to the cage. It's just a brutal, deeply unhealthy practice that completely wrecks the body and leaves these athletes severely compromised. So look at the stark contrast between those traditional, dangerous crash cuts and the healthy, sustainable path that Carano actually chose. Instead of sweating out vital fluids in a sauna at the last minute and putting her organs under massive stress, she opted for a meticulous protocol that was actually based on proper information. Her entire approach was rooted in proper nutrition, taking her time, and a gradual shedding of the weight to ensure her body was fueled for combat, not totally depleted by it. Let's get right into part one. Gina's 100-pound journey from pre-diabetic to the Intuit Dome. Let's look at exactly where she started this whole process. By September 2024, after a massive 17-year layoff from the sport, Gina was in a deeply concerning place, health-wise. She was pre-diabetic, weighing over 240 pounds, and actually having trouble just executing basic everyday movements, like walking. Just imagine the physical toll of that reality for a second. To make this comeback a reality, she needed to lose a staggering 100 pounds just to safely hit that 141.4-pound featherweight limit. The mountain she had to climb here was absolutely massive. And it took her exactly 20 months to do it properly. By dropping about 1 pound a week, she entirely avoided shocking her system into a state of panic or survival mode. Stretching that timeline out over a year and a half allowed her to hold on to crucial muscle mass, all while giving her hormones and metabolism the time they needed to naturally catch up. This definitely wasn't some gimmicky crash diet. This was a highly calculated, scientifically sound physical reconstruction. Moving on to part two. Sustainable diet and nutrition, fueling the fighter. Rather than heavily restricting herself with the kind of crash diets that invariably lead to mental burnout and physical weakness, she focused purely on nutrient-dense whole foods. Armed with proper information, she completely ditched those strict counterproductive rules. Instead, she loaded up on lean protein, fiber, and complex carbs. Her absolute go-to meal during fight camps? A super simple but highly effective mix of chicken, couscous, and green beans. She also strategically layered in supplements, think whey protein, omega-3s, and creatine, to preserve her power and muscle integrity. It was all about prioritizing long-term sustainability over rapid starvation.
Next up, part three, the comeback workout routine, intuitive and diverse training.
Her training eventually evolved into a massive twice-a-day commitment. We're talking 4 hours of intense, daily physical work. It takes an incredibly tough mindset just to sustain that. She'd kick things off with a 15-minute warm-up and shadowboxing routine to get the blood flowing and dial in her mechanics, and then follow that up with 2 grueling hours of sparring and technique. But what's truly fantastic about her regimen is how she beautifully blended intense combat styles like Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu with holistic activities like Pilates and even hiking. This dynamic mix really ensured her mind stayed just as balanced and engaged as her body throughout a brutal camp. Let's look at the final piece of the puzzle, part 4, a different kind of victory, beyond the 17-second fight. Ultimately, as you probably know, she suffered a tough 17-second submission loss to Ronda Rousey. But honestly, she handled that defeat with immense grace and raw honesty. In her own words, she openly admitted that she kicked when she should have moved and had to tap to avoid a completely broken arm. No excuses whatsoever. It was just a veteran fighter acknowledging the harsh, split-second reality of a sport where one slight miscalculation ends your night. It's a really profound display of accountability. Which brings us right to the aftermath. She actually shared that she was finally going to go enjoy some Chicago-style pizza, but declared that tomorrow it was right back to work. And it really makes you wonder, Does this incredible journey to reclaim her health prove that the true victory was simply stepping back into the cage at all? When you conquer your own body, reverse a serious health decline, and take your life back after 17 long years, isn't that the absolute biggest win a fighter can achieve? Definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining us on this explainer. We'll see you next time.